so I have today on the call our top coach of the year, as you saw in all of the social media posts. But she is. I want to give some stats here because it's very, very impressive what she's done this year, and you'll find out a lot more about how she was able to do it. But she is a 4-time elite coach. Twice she's been in the top 10. She's a superstar diamond coach, and she joined Team Beachbody in October of 2012. So about almost 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago. She's got 60 months of consecutive Success Club. So that is something that she's going to talk about, her consistency. But here's what really did it for me. Last year, she sponsored 979 coaches, personally sponsored, okay? And she is going to talk about how she did it, how that's working for her. She has personally sponsored 31 lifetime diamonds and above. She has rank advanced 23 coaches in 2018 past diamond. And she's from Phoenix, Arizona. Ashlie Molstad, thank you so much for coming and being on the program.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. It's always an honor.
Well, thank you. And you know what? I'm gonna just ask you some questions. We'll do it interview style, and I'll get out of the way and just let you take it. And so why don't you share with everybody that might be new to the call or might not know your story, but when did you become a coach and why?
Yeah. Okay. Hi, coaches. So I found Beachbody back in 2012, like Sandy mentioned. I joined in 2012 a challenge group. I was just looking to get in shape for my wedding. I had done every diet under the sun, just bounced from diet to diet to diet, trying to find my solution. And my sister-in-law had done this program, had amazing results. And so I asked her what it was. She said, I joined a challenge group, which I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I did this challenge group, an insanity challenge group. And I asked her husband, my brother-in-law, did she have to change her whole life, or like, how did she get these results? And he was like, no, she did her workout, she drank her shake every morning, and then she traded beer in for vodka water. And I like to party, I like to celebrate, and I was getting ready for a wedding. So I was like, if I can still live and see results, I'm in. She hosted a challenge group. I ended up joining. And then I just fell in love with Beachbody and the community. It was, I did Insanity. She told me, you should sign up for a coach. Like, if you're going to purchase this challenge pack, you should enroll as a coach. And I had zero interest in it. I was not about to start a business or be a coach or sell anything, but I was hooked after 60 days of Insanity. And at that time, you had to buy one program at a time. So Insanity, the Asylum Volume 1 and Volume 2 was coming out. And I wanted to save money. If I'm nothing, I am a bargain shopper. So I signed up in October of 2012, just for the discount. And I enjoyed the discount for, almost probably 15 months. In 2013, I did start sharing my kind of journey with this community and Beachbody products with friends and family face to face. I wasn't doing a lot of business building at the time because I still wasn't sold on it, but it was something that I was always a group fitness junkie. I loved going to the gym and having them tell me what to do and how long to do it, and just kind of not having to think about my fitness. But I also found that if something came up at work or something came up in my personal life or something, and I had to miss my scheduled class for the day, a lot of times my workout just wouldn't happen. So I love that this was like group fitness, but on my time. I was doing it on my own, but not, I had that community. I wasn't sold on Shakeology at first, but I just knew I wanted to keep doing it. And at the same time, I've always struggled with insecurity my whole life. And it ended up kind of snowballing into a depression. And in 2013, the last 6 months or so, I was suicidal. And the only bright spot for me was Beachbody. Every day I would do my workout and I'd plug into my group. But I just felt like I was bringing everyone down around me. And I leaned in. And I think a lot of times people lean out, but I leaned in. And in the beginning of 2014, I got a new job. I worked through my depression and insecurities, and I had some some health issues going on at the time. Those were under control. And I realized, like, in January, all the other top 10 people were getting recognized. I saw what was happening. I saw there were trips, and it was just people sharing their love for this company and the products that was getting them there. And I thought, I love this company. I love the products. Why don't I see what I can do with this? And so I reached out to my upline that recruited me. My sister-in-law doesn't work the business, but her upline, Danielle Natoni, I reached out to her to see if she would help mentor me. I started running in January 2014, and I haven't stopped since.
So all of last year, no, let me say a good portion of last year, you were at the #1 spot for Elite. And I just wanted to ask you, what changes did you see in yourself? You held that spot for more than 6 months in the year. What changes did you see in your leadership style, or what did you do, or what did you see change in you?
Yeah, so in what was it? I guess 2017, I ended the year as the #2 coach, and I could not seem to help my team feel success. And I love our fitness programs. I love our shakes. It's clear, right? I signed up for the discount. But the thing that has changed my life the most is coaching. And so I wanted to help people change their lives with coaching, not just our products, but this opportunity. And I just felt like I couldn't. I was not able to really help a lot of people get Success Club, advance to Diamond, or beyond Diamond. And so I started living this story that I can't be a leader. I don't know how to lead. I don't know what I'm doing. And in the beginning of last year, 2018, one of my really good friends and coach, Emily Favre, started like sprinting, and she started doing all these things, and I just started learning from her. And I was like, well, I don't want her to do this alone. I want to run with her. I finally have someone that's like ready to run. I want to run with her. And it meant I had to push past some of those limiting beliefs. And so I had been a 6-star Diamond coach for 3 years, I think. And I didn't want to go to another summit recognized as a 6-star again. I knew our team deserved more than that. And so I reached out. I looked at who was showing up, who was hitting Success Club, who was getting results, who was inspiring. And I put 5 girls on a text strand, and I said, I think our team deserves to be recognized as a 10-star team at Summit. I feel like every one of you could do this. Do you want to run with me? And in that 1 week, we had 1 week to make it happen for the Summit recognition cutoff. All of them went Diamond, and we went into 11-star qual that week. And it just was such a light bulb moment that, like, it's not that I'm a terrible leader. It's just, that's the story I was telling myself so much that that's what I believed. And it also was so eye-opening that if I just gave my coaches a little belief, they started rising too. And so I've asked several of them since, like, why did you go Diamond? And they're all like, because you told me I could, because you believed in me. And it was such a moment for me. And that kind of turned everything for the rest of this year, realizing I don't have to live under that story I'd been telling myself. I can lead, and I can help other people be successful and breathe belief into them. So I would say, that's been the biggest shift, is changing that story.
I was talking about the leaderboards, and everybody watches those leaderboards, and at the end of the year they go dark, and you're like, what's going on? Do you think the leaderboards are seeing where you are in a ranking, is that a distraction or is it a motivator? And if it's whichever it is, what is the motivator for you?
So if I'm honest, I mean, top coach was never the goal. I had put top 10 on dream boards, vision boards for a few years, but it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool to see my name, in that top spot. That's cool, and I think it's amazing for the network to see that, it's not just one person that can do this, because Melanie is amazing, but we're so different. And so it was cool to see somebody so opposite like myself, or when Amy's been up there before, just that different people can do this. But that's not really what motivated me. I didn't, people ask me all year, like, oh, how's it feel, top coach? And I'm like, I'm not doing anything different now than I would if I weren't, right? Last year, I worked just as hard and I ended #2. And if I don't get top coach this year, I'm going to work just as hard next year. So that's not really what motivated me. I think what I had to really focus on was, and this is really my passion, is the lives on the other side of those Success Club numbers. And I feel like that can sound kind of cliche, but that really is where my focus is. Because if I get caught up in the recognition and if I get caught up in those numbers in the leaderboards, it can distract me from my main purpose and my main goal, which is really to help as many women as possible feel comfortable and confident in their skin again.
Thank you. So what are 3 activities that every Beachbody coach should focus on? And consequently, what are 3 things that you don't focus on because they don't add any value?
This is going to be a super unsexy answer, and I'm sorry, coaches, but it's the vitals. It's the vital behaviors. They're vital for a reason. I was actually they asked this week at Super Saturday where I was, what advice you could give to a new coach. And I think a lot of times when you're new, you want to know everything. You want to listen to all the calls in hopes that maybe you'll hear that one secret that's going to break your business wide open. And a lot of times what we want is the secret to be, here's how to be successful and make a bunch of money in this business without doing the hard stuff. And you will never hear that because that's not what's going to happen. You got to do the hard stuff. You got to do the work. So I see a lot of coaches bouncing from training to training to training and not actually doing the work. Training, these wake-up calls are super important. It's how I learned how to do everything, but this doesn't build your business. The work builds your business. And so the foundation of everything, when I started way back when, to what I do today, is the vital behaviors. I show up for myself. I do my workout. I drink my shake. I focus on personal development. In the beginning, I didn't want to do that. So I did 10 minutes and I would set an alarm. 10 minutes, that's all I did. And now I consume at least an hour a day because I crave it. It's kind of like fitness where it takes a while to get into the habit. And then once you start that habit, you start wanting to do more of it. It feels really good. That's personal development. Don't leave that one out. So I take care of me, and then I show up on social media and I share my story with other people. I'm having conversations with them and I'm inviting them. That's what I did then. That's what I do now. And that's all you need to do in the beginning. So as a coach, no matter where you are in your journey, it's the vital behaviors. Get back to that. And then once you help those people, our now 4th vital behavior is help them get results. Your business is going to naturally grow. You don't need to know everything. And then as far as what not to do, I think one of the biggest things that has saved me in the beginning, I did, like I said, my coach that enrolled me is inactive. And so I really leaned on this network to kind of train me and teach me what I need to know. I learned everything from these wake-up calls and by following top coaches and seeing how they do things. And so I would follow them for inspiration. But the second my brain shifted to comparison, where, why can't I do that? Her posts are so much better than me. I love her captions. I don't know how to write. I had to unfollow. I had to unfollow all the people that were causing me to tell this new negative story. If they're no longer inspiring you, you need to unfollow, because comparison will steal your joy every single day in this business if you let it. And so I think just focusing on your own journey is super important, not looking left and right. So not comparing, unfollow if you need to. And then the other thing I think, and this made a big difference in our team this year, is not overcomplicating things. This business really is simple. It's help yourself, help others, help them get results. Like that's really what it is when you break it down to it. And so again, you don't have to know everything. Don't overcomplicate it. And don't think that you need to keep adding on layers and every wake-up call. You don't need to do everything that every top coach says, right? You can just pick what feels good to you and implement some things here until you find your groove. But just get back to the basics. Help 3 people a month. That's what you need to do. You help 3 people a month so that you hit Success Club. You're going to get your products paid for. You're going to move your business forward, and you're going to be helping people, which for me is everything. I mean, I mentioned that I had depression, and I think one of the things, obviously personal development was huge. Obviously showing up for me was huge in my confidence, but also having people say, thank you for changing my life was everything. And so I always stay rooted in that. And I think that's really important for you guys too.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Shakeology, because you mentioned in the beginning that you were not into it.
Yeah.
So you weren't into it. So give a little story about why you weren't into it and then how you got into it. I mean, go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. So when I started, I had mentioned, right, that I did every diet. So shakes to me were like, weight loss products or something. And they had never worked for me. I've tried them. They never worked. So I just thought like, I don't believe in shakes. I'm just not interested. But my coach told me, and remember, my brother-in-law said she did the workout, she drank her shake and she swapped her drinks. So I was like, well, I'll buy it, but I just didn't really believe in it. So I was like a 4-day-a-week drinker or something. And I also didn't love the flavor at first. So I would do 4 days a week. And then I just kept listening to every wake up call and all these trainings, and all the top coaches were saying like how much Shakeology had changed their life and how much healthier they felt and how much they loved it. And I started to think like, maybe they're not just drinking the Kool-Aid, like maybe there actually is something to this shake. So I did a 30-day challenge. And I was like, I'm going to go every single day, 30 days, and not miss a day and just see if I feel a difference. So I drank it every day for 30 days. And then I took it out for like a week or something. And I noticed a huge difference. And I'm not somebody that had high cholesterol or was like on a ton of medications. So I didn't have any medical things that it fixed. But I am somebody who is a very imperfect eater, who was struggling my whole life, basically with addiction to sugar. And what I realized sorry guys, what I realized is not only did my hair feel healthier, my nails were finally growing. I could never grow nails before. My skin felt clearer. I felt more energized, all those things kind of at the cellular level. But also I felt like it strengthened my willpower muscle, where I didn't need the sugar that I had always needed after every single meal. And I just realized like, this is giving me a leg up. So, and then of course I started doing research and I realized, it is what it's worth, every penny and more. And it's what it says it is. And I just love it now, and of course I also think it's important, if you're not a fan of it yet, to play around with recipes. Cause like I said, I didn't love Shakeology, the flavor at first of any of them. But now I crave it because I believed in it enough to try it until I found the recipe that worked.
And just so legal doesn't get on my back, your hair and your nails are growing because you're healthy. And I feel the same way as you. So, but anyway, thank you for that Shakeology reference. When you and I talked on our pre-call, I asked you the question about, can anyone be successful in this business? Why don't you go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, and you guys, I do think anybody can be successful in this business. And I think that because of where I came from, because who I was, before coaching, I didn't believe, I mentioned my insecurity, depression, I was suicidal, right? I did not believe in my ability to inspire anybody. I did not feel at home in my body. I was constantly looking for something to make me feel happy or worthy. And so I know where I've been and who I am now, but I also have seen it happen for thousands of other people. And if you listen to these wake up calls consistently, you hear every coach has a story of somewhere where they were broken. And so whatever your story is that you're telling yourself, you can be successful as long as you get out of your own way. I think the biggest challenge in this business is not selling challenge packs. It's not building your team. It's not putting yourself out there. It's getting you're out of your own way, losing the ego. That ego that says, what will they think? What will my neighbors think if I put this picture up in my bikini? Or what will my family think if I leave my job for this, like my cushy, stable job? I was a corporate climber before this, for this kind of pyramid thing or whatever, that people think. You have all of those people that have doubts, and you have the most. But I just think if you get out of your own way, then you do the work, then anybody can be successful. I really believe that.
I'm so inspired by your realness. When people watch you on social media, they're just looking at a picture of you, but to hear you speak, it's so real and authentic. And to hear, that you've even had challenges. So that's a question that I've had for you. Was there a time this year, or maybe your whole time coaching, where you were challenged by this business? And if so, what did you do about it, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think in the business, I feel like there's there's years of growth in the business, and then there's years of growth personal. And sometimes they're the same. I think this year was a big year of business and personal growth, because I have a 1-year-old now, so kind of newly postpartum, and that whole last year was going through that transition of life. But in the business, the hardest part probably was last year, when I was really struggling with that story of, you can't help people be successful in this business. You can help people get results, but you cannot help people be successful in this business. You can't lead. You will, and so living in that story, I think that was really challenging. And I'm so glad that I looked it in its eyes, and Emily helped me do that in March or whenever it was, and just said, is this really true? Can you not lead people, or is that just the belief system that you're running on and now acting in accordance with that? And so just deciding, hey, I'm going to put these people in a tech strand because I believe in them, and I'm going to see what happens. And then that changed my whole year. And so I think that was the time that I've really struggled most in the business recently. But this year I struggled a little bit more personally, I think because of that postpartum journey. So one of the things, my brand is built on self-love, embracing your body where you're at, and you can still work to get where you want to go, but love it where it's at. And it was a real challenge for me this year. And one of the times that it was the hardest, I remember, is when we went on the top 10 trip. We were in France with 8 other women who were all super fit and all smaller than me. I was the largest one there. And I remember really struggling with that, and kind of just having, like, I just didn't want to go to the pool one day because I just felt ashamed of this body, and having this thought of, like, how can you be a coach and how can you be inspiring people if you're, like, not fit? And I just had to remind myself that my body is not my worth, and that I was ranked number 1 at the time. I was helping a ton of people every single month, and there was a reason for that. And it wasn't because of my body. It wasn't because I, had abs, because I didn't. And I think just working through that, and if any of you guys, I'm sure a lot of you do, question your ability to inspire people or your ability to be successful because of this body that we live in, because of your looks. And I would just ask you to challenge that belief, because it's not your body or your abs or your quad definition that is going to make you a successful coach. It's the person inside. It's the journey, and sharing those vulnerabilities and letting people in on your journey, the good and the bad and the struggles. And so I think that was probably the biggest challenge for me this year, was just reminding myself that no matter what my outside might look like, I still can help a lot of people. I still am a good person. I am still me, no matter what I look like.
So, okay, last interview question, and then we'll get to the close. But I want you to talk to the one person that is watching right now that could be a newer coach that is saying to themselves, I don't have any confidence or belief in myself or in this business, but I just want to get a little momentum in this business. What advice can you give to that newer coach that is just trying to just get started and move forward in this?
Okay, well, what I will say about that is the number one way to build confidence in yourself, if you're struggling with confidence, is following through on the promises that you make to yourself. And what I mean by that, especially in this coach world, is if you say you're starting Transform 20 today and you're going to finish that program, then you're going to start Transform 20 today and you're going to finish that program. You're going to get up every day, even when you don't want to, even when your bed is nice and cozy, even when it's really cold out. You're going to get up in the morning and you're going to do your workout, and you're going to follow the meal plan, and you are going to drink your shake, and you are going to do personal development, because every time you do that, you're building confidence in yourself. And every time you don't, you're chipping away. And so if confidence is your issue, that is the number one way to start building confidence. And it will change your business. That alone will change your business, because when you start believing in yourself and building that confidence, then you have more to say on social media. Then you know how to talk to people. You know how to help people. You just believe in all of it more. So I think that's really important. And I just also want to remind you that, like, who I am today is not who I was when I started. This is not the same Ashlie. There's been a lot of years of growth. And so people, maybe this is the first time you've ever seen me or heard my name. And I probably come off like pretty confident, and I am confident, but that's not who I was when I started. And I had a reminder this weekend. It came up in my time hop, my Facebook, like, on this day thing. And it was January 2016. So 3 years ago. I was an elite coach for the first time. I was ranked 43 in the company. And it was my, the first time I had ever shared my story. So it was a video, first time I'd ever shared my story at a Super Saturday. And they called me on stage and I was terrified. I said, like, I'm trembling, I'm so afraid. I started crying when I was telling my story because I was, so nervous. And it was so interesting to watch that video and just see how much I have grown. I also told the story on that stage, how that month, December, I guess, of 2015, I had 3 Success Club points on December 23rd. I've had those same struggles. Success Club isn't hard for me anymore, but it was in the beginning. Believing in myself isn't hard for me anymore, but it was in the beginning. Speaking on a national wake-up call, it's not hard for me anymore, but it definitely was in the beginning. I mean, I was terrified to be on stage just at Super Saturday. And so I want to remind you that all of us that you see speaking on these calls, there's just a lot of growth that's happened along our journey. And so I would say lean into the growth. Make sure you're leaning into those uncomfortable moments because that's where the growth happens. You don't grow inside your comfort zone. So make that post, send that invite, make that connection, put yourself out there, get vulnerable because that's where the magic is going to be.
Thank you. That is really good advice about the National Wake Up Call speakers. Thank you. So last but not least, the closing question, which is about personal fulfillment for you. And what has been the most rewarding part of coaching experience thus far?
Oh my gosh, this business it's the best. I mean, it can be so hard at times. We all know, right? But it is the best. And this year, it was just so magical to see so many of my coaches texting me and talking and with tears in their eyes about how they didn't have to worry about buying gifts at Christmas. The holiday wasn't a stress for the first time ever. They took a date night with their husband for the first time in 6 years because of Beachbody being able to afford, the night out and a babysitter. Just little things that make a world of difference. And I just think, my life has completely changed. The fact that we have a kid now and my husband and I both get to be home with her full time and I get to raise her in an environment to show her that she can do whatever she wants. Hard work matters, but she can dream as big as she wants and then just go after it. I just feel so proud to be a part of this company. I feel like it is a gift every single day to be able to share this opportunity with other people. And I think, what if my coach, I spent some time being bitter and upset that my coach that invited me didn't work this business. And I've realized since that it's not her job to build my business for me. It was never her job. Her job was to just tell me that this existed. And she did that. And then it was on me to make sure I squeezed everything I could out of this business and I made myself successful. So it doesn't matter if you're on a team that's, not super busy or your inactive isn't really active in this, or your active upline isn't really active in this business. None of that matters because you're in total control of your success in this business. And I just can't wait. I love hearing all the success stories, hearing about how lives have been changed. And it's been so magical this year to have someone close to me on my team. And just get to share those moments with them.
Awesome. The word that keeps coming to mind for you is resilience. What you have done this year has been more than impressive. It's been very exciting to watch you the whole year. And we're very, very excited that you're 2019 Top Coach of the Year. Yay! So thank you so much for getting on the National Wake Up Call. We'll put the podcast up in about half an hour to an hour. But thank you. Have a fantastic year. I'm going to see you throughout the year at different leadership events and summit and stuff like that. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. So I wanted to bring Darren back on because he did miss a couple of people on the list that he would like to announce.
Yeah. First of all, Ashlie, and thank you, Sandy. Ashlie, amazing call. Way to go. That was really, really inspiring. I had a chance to check, and we did miss 2 names that I do need to say because they worked really hard this week to hit their advancement. They were two new diamond coaches, and the first one was Paul Bennis, and he is from Miles City, Montana. And I just wanted to recognize him as a new diamond coach as well. We also had in a secondary CBC, Autumn Cheedock, and she's from Salem, Oregon. So just wanted to get them on the call, recognize them, because that's a lot of hard work, and I would feel terrible that I missed them. So congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Ashlie. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. All right. Wow, what a call. The Facebook is lighting up right now because she's so real, and her conversation is just so authentic. So you may want to come back and watch or listen on podcast. I've got an affirmation for today. Inhale confidence and exhale doubt. That is what we have to do. Inhale, exhale, everybody. That is it for today's wake up call. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.